watching Rogers TV.
Hey, here I am again. Hey, welcome to the show. Got a great show ahead for you. We're going to start in the kitchen. But before we get to our first guest, I want to remind you we have a fantastic Mother's Day contest running right now. The deadline to enter is May the 5th at midnight. Here are all the details for you. We know how amazing moms are, and just in time for Mother's Day, here's an opportunity to tell us how great she is and make her eligible to receive an exclusive makeover package. Just send us a few sentences telling us why your mom is so special and why she deserves a free professional makeover. The winner will receive an incredible makeover prize pack consisting of makeup and hair care services courtesy of Bruno Racine's Salon and L.A. Barrett. They have both worked with some of the biggest stars in North America. All right, there you have it. Make sure you get those entries in. Again, rogerstv.com/amazing mom. All you have to do is tell us how great your mom is in 500 words or less. Well, speaking of moms and Mother's Day, off their successful Easter brunch, we are talking to Infinity Convention Center yet again today because they have a wonderful Mother's Day brunch coming up. I'm joined by Chris Bosley. He is the general manager, and Jason Peters. He is the executive chef. Welcome. Great to have you both here. Let's talk about that first of all. Chris, how was Easter brunch?
It was good. I mean, it was our first brunch, and I don't remember exactly the count, but it was a beautiful looking spot. Everybody was there, really enjoyed themselves. The Easter Bunny was a huge hit. And,
nice.
and it's interesting, we did have a great big display out front, and it actually drew in a few people to find out what's going on over there. So,
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. Very successful.
You had some walk-ups. That's
we
amazing.
had some walk-ups, which doesn't usually happen. So we had some walk-ups, which was great. And then we're anticipating that Mother's Day will be a little bit busier.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. Jason, you and your team, you must have fun doing this, right? It's just a little bit something different for you, right?
It is, exactly. Every event, we try to rethink the menu, start from scratch, try to pull some new ideas, and hopefully everything works and is well received.
Everything
so it's
works?
Nice, yeah.
What do you mean, hopefully? Of course, everything. You're a professional at what you do. What can we expect for the Mother's Day brunch? What have you got planned?
Well, we have quite a few different stations. We'll have an avocado toast station, which we're going to start off soon. We have a donut wall, French toast with a whole bunch of garnishes.
Eggs Benedict.
An Eggs Benedict station, again, which is not necessarily a build your own, but you have your base and then lots of different garnishes that we can add on. Like it's a chef-attended station.
So you had me at donut wall. Like I don't even know what that is, and I'm excited. What is a donut wall?
So it's basically just a painted wall, lots of bright colors with all these different hooks, and then on there we how would I put it? We dip and we coat donuts with all these different garnishes, and then we hang it up.
I love it. What a great idea.
It's almost like a circus game where you throw it, but this way you pick it up.
Nice.
So
I love it. All right, we're going to build some avocado toast here today, right? So what the deal with this? It's kind of like a Sunday bar, but for avocado toast.
Exactly. So what we'll do is, similar to this, we'll have different types of crostinis ready to go with some crushed up avocados. And then there's going to be lots of different garnishes, and the guests can go up, put whatever they prefer, whatever they would like to try on, and then basically move on to different stations.
All right. Chris, do you get to taste test all of this?
Well,
to make sure
it's important.
That
we don't want our guests coming in having blinding tastes. So.
I understand.
It's one of the many rules.
All right. So we've got our avocado. So we're just picking whatever we want to throw on there?
Exactly. So we have some aged cheddar, some pico de gallo that we made, some grilled shrimp, sun-dried tomatoes, house pickled jalapenos, maple smoked bacon, goat cheese, some radishes, roasted red peppers, lots of different stuff. And there's going to be a few more things as well. So yeah, you just basically start off with whatever your preferences is and start building.
Okay, all right. I'm going shrimp to start. Little shrimp there. I think. Oh. I'm gonna take a little bacon.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with that.
Oh man, bacon just goes with everything. I actually have, funny enough, I have a friend, one of my best friends, Sophie, is a vegetarian. The only meat that she eats is bacon. Wow, she'll just kind of sneak one every now and then at breakfast or brunch. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of this.
A bit of that. I'll help you build a couple of the smaller ones.
Absolutely.
as well too. I built some ahead of time with a few different toppings.
That looks amazing.
And then we'll also have some extra virgin olive oil, some spiced balsamic reduction as well that we can use to garnish the top.
A little bit of cheese here. So, Chris, is the idea moving forward that, you know, around different holidays, this brunch idea is going to be something that you feel you're going to be consistently doing?
Yeah, it's something we've always, our business has been generated by clients coming to us. So now we're starting off with the brunches. The idea is that we'll do a Thanksgiving takeout.
Okay.
Right? So we'll come up, you know, the full trimmings, and then same thing around Christmas, and then also considering a Christmas brunch with Santa.
Nice.
On a Sunday. So I just think there's a demand for it. As I said, I think last time we were here in this business, they always seem to fill up in brunches. So
yeah.
I believe there's a demand for it. And it's, you know, we can even expand on it with, you know, having selling Christmas cakes and tortillas and things like
nice.
that. So
great idea.
The sky's the limit for those sorts of things.
What do you add in? Is that a little balsamic?
Yeah, spiced balsamic reduction. So basically we take balsamic vinegar, sugar, we'll add some star anise, some clove and cinnamon sticks, and then reduce that. So it gives it a bit more flavor.
So you've got like your own signature balsamic.
Yeah.
Well,
sure,
I mean, you're adding to it.
Yeah,
I don't know. When I buy balsamic, it's just what it is, right?
It is now signature.
Yeah, and then we can just drizzle that over top.
Look at that.
Perfect.
That looks
and
amazing.
It looks nice. And then same thing if ever you want to add some microgreens.
Oh, that's always a good
whether
idea.
to the top.
Always
we
looks
added
good.
some here on the bottom. Just it makes the plate pop a bit more
Agreed.
than everything that we put over top as well.
Look at that. So, Chris, for those that have never been in the space before, let's talk about the space and the type of events that people can hold, hold at the Affinity.
15,000 square feet of meeting space, which can be divisible into 3 separate rooms.
Okay.
Then there's a 5,000 square foot foyer. But we can do just about anything. We do all kinds of weddings, lots of conferences. We do fight nights where an actual fight club comes in and there's a whole card with a concession and the guy, the Michael Buffer-like announcer. So we've done that where the ring goes right in the middle of the dining room.
That's amazing.
We've turned it into a tool store.
Okay.
All kinds of things.
I've done ring announcing in the past, so you make sure you get them in touch with me because that was one of like I grew up as a boxing fan, and when they asked me to do it, it was a great charity fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club that they had for 25 years, and I was the ring announcer I think for about a decade, and absolutely loved it.
Yep.
I mean, it was just one of those things you think growing up you'd never be able to do.
Well, they certainly get into it. The guy is very full of emotion when he's announcing. But it's exciting. He really builds the crowd up for it. But, No, it's just incredible, and it's the whole walk-in music and lights, but pretty much we can do almost anything. We do exams there for accounting and law exams.
Really?
Anything you can think of. Yeah, trade shows.
Fantastic.
We don't say no very often. We sort of modify or suggest, but we're open for
And
anything.
Jason, when somebody comes in and then they want to do so, you customize, I imagine, the menu for what they're looking for?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We always have obviously our base menu, but then depending on different groups, I like to sit down with them and kind of get a vision for, an idea of their vision, and then preferences and dislikes, and then from there, work with them, build something up, and then. Modify if needed.
Excellent, I love it. Reservations are needed, by the way, everybody, for the Mother's Day brunch. Of course, Mother's Day, if you haven't thought about it yet, it's coming up May the 12th, and go to infinityconventioncenter.com. Their brunch runs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be back with more daytime right after this. Don't go anywhere. This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details. We know how amazing moms are, and just in time for Mother's Day, here's an opportunity to tell us how great she is and make her eligible to receive an exclusive makeover package. Just send us a few sentences telling us why your mom is so special and why she deserves a free professional makeover. The winner will receive an incredible makeover prize pack consisting of makeup and hair care services courtesy of Bruno Racine's Salon and L.A. Barrett. They have both worked with some of the biggest stars in North America.
My name is Risa Solomon St. Louis, and I'm the chef and owner of Bacchanal Taste the Caribbean Lifestyle. I love to eat, I love to cook, and this is one of the reasons why I became a chef. I'm excited to share some of what inspires me when you see me at farmers markets, when we're catering, through our prepared meals, and even our sauces and spice blends that we're known for. Thank you for coming into the kitchen with Risa.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade. I want to talk all about business with you on Ottawa Business Matters. This week, lots of great guests, including Jennifer Stewart. She's the president and CEO of Syntax Strategic. Join us then.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. We continue talking food with my next guest. He's normally in the kitchen, but today we had a double sort of kitchen segment. If you are looking for protein for your next meal, there's no better place to go than Du Michel Meat and Deli. The Silver Fox Butcher, Ian Slipikoff, joining me on the show. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for
have you
having
here.
me again.
I asked Chris off the top there, how's business? How are things at Du Michel
Things
these
are
days?
good. It's starting to pick up. Winters always are quieter months. January, February, March are always a little bit quiet, as per se, after Christmas. Everybody's done with eating. Then it gets busy for Easter. Then you have a little lull before Mother's Day. And then once Mother's Day hit, barbecue season's here.
Oh, yeah, you're rolling, right?
We've had a little bit of a tease this year with the nice weather. But then it got cold again.
Yeah.
So, you never know what Mother Nature is going to bring to us.
Listen, I'm a barbecue griller all year round. I'm that guy. I'm standing out with the umbrella or shoveling, my path to the barbecue. It really is worth it and saves you a lot, right? Turning on the oven and the stove compared to getting a tank of propane, right? Or 100%. Natural gas, whatever you have.
But I love the flavor of barbecue.
Yeah, me too.
I can't go all year without it.
Do you do charcoal or do you do?
No, I do propane.
Okay, I do both.
Do you?
I'm gonna get you hooked to the charcoal.
Yes,
it's so good.
You got to get a smoker though, because that.
Well, yeah, but the ceramic charcoal barbecues, they act as a smoker, they act as a baker. You can do a cheesecake in there. It's amazing. We'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you talking about today? Oh my goodness! First of all, I think we've got to start over here because I think most people at home have never experienced this. I told you I've only experienced it once in my entire life. What did you bring along here?
We have the cat's meow today. So I brought in today a couple of different options. Okay. So the first one is Japanese Wagyu. So this is A5 Japanese Wagyu flown in, and this is a New York strip loin.
Okay.
So what we try to do is cut it about half an inch to an inch thick, and then we can separate it from there. So you get a nice thicker steak, and then you can actually cut it and grill it to size.
Right.
If you're cutting it thin because you want a small portion, you want to have a taste, you're just literally going to flip it both ways, and then it's going to be done. Right. If you want to get something you're going to be able to cook to.
Why is that so special? What makes that cut so special?
God. If you look at the incredible marbling in it, it's just covered in intramuscular fat, and that fat's going to melt, and it's going to be the juiciest steak that you ever have.
It almost melts in your mouth, eh?
Yes, you can't overcook it. It's almost impossible.
Really?
It's just going to be so juicy. You can cook it super well done.
Wow.
And it's still just going to be in a pool.
Okay, that I had no idea, because you would never suggest that, I think, with probably any other cut of steak, right?
No, it is absolutely incredible. And even just feeling it has this buttery feel to it. Like the fat is just incredible. So I brought that, and just as a comparison, so I have Australian Wagyu.
Okay.
And this is a ribeye.
I see the difference.
And it's very marbled. It's incredible, great flavor, but it's not as marbled as the Japanese Wagyu.
Right.
So it's incredible. Yeah, both steaks are phenomenal.
You're not going to go wrong.
If you want to have a really good barbecue this summer and you're really looking for something special, that'll do it.
Yeah, this is kind of a special occasion type of thing, right?
But, for the Japanese, you can't eat a big portion. It's super rich. It's very flavorful, but very almost buttery and heavy.
Okay.
So, if you're going to have like a 3-4 ounce portion, some people try to eat more. but it's really rich.
Okay.
Watch out if you have gout. It's going to come and get you.
Okay, I got you. And what is this monster you've brought along with you?
This is a beautiful tomahawk. So everybody wants a showpiece. It's basically a long bone rib steak. So if you imagine you get a rib steak at the store, you got the bones usually cut to here. It's called a tomahawk because literally that's what it looks like.
It looks like, yeah.
And it's a beautifully aged rib steak. It's cut extra thick. Great showpiece. You're having a nice barbecue.
Absolutely.
I mean, my suggestion for cooking it is very simple. Salt and pepper or silver fox steak spice. Cover it, sear it 2 to 3 minutes per side, high heat.
Okay.
Indirect heat for about 15 minutes. At about
Really?
350,
Okay.
50 minutes, medium rare, ready to go.
So let's compare, if you compared these two, what's the biggest difference between these two cuts?
So this cut is a AAA Canadian rib steak.
Right.
So AAA basically is talking about the interior marbling.
Okay.
Australian Wagyu is another breed, and it is much more marbled.
Right.
So you've got then the next level up is this one, and then the highest level that you can get is the Japanese Wagyu.
Okay.
So now when people talk about Japanese Wagyu and Japanese Kobe, so Kobe really comes from the Kobe region in Japan. And
Right.
it has to come from that region to be called Kobe. Everything else is called Wagyu.
Interesting, kind of like champagne.
Exactly.
Right, where it has to come from
exactly it.
champagne, or you have to call it Prosecco or sparkling wine or
100%.
whatnot. Let's move over to this area over here. What have you brought with you here today? I mean, obviously, I know what burgers look like, but I'm not familiar with this piece.
This piece is outside skirt, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
I want to talk about our burgers. So
Okay.
we've always got summertime, obviously, burgers on the counter. So we've got a 4-ounce and a 6-ounce size. We do a lot of big barbecues. So, whether it's a school or whether it's a institution, construction site, you're having a big barbecue for work, we can supply it all. So we can
Nice.
supply the burgers, the buns, the condiments, the cheese, everything you're going to need to make your barbecue successful, short of having somebody come and barbecue
I didn't
it for
realize you did the condiments as well. That's
Yep,
amazing.
We've got it all. So, but one thing we want to talk about with the burgers, first off, we only use boneless chuck, which is the best meat that you can use for grinding. That's going to get you the best flavor and the best taste out of your burger. They're made fresh every day.
Okay.
It comes from Ontario beef. It's all grass-fed. It's all hormone-free.
Wow.
So the burgers that we're selling in the store are incredible, each and every one of them.
So again, is this you mentioned ground chuck? Is that because it's got the perfect mixture of sort of meat and fat? Again, are we talking about that marbling
it's a mixture of
idea?
Meat and fat, and the cut of beef has the best flavor. It comes from the front shoulder.
Okay.
And instead of using something that's from the round, which is from the leg, and you're not going to use the middle cuts like the prime rib or a strip loin, that's going to get you the best flavor and the best texture when you're grinding it.
Okay. Oh man, I haven't had a burger in like 2 months, and now I'm dying for a. Hey, speaking of, you do things. You mentioned construction sites and so forth. The RCMP Club, they're having their big steak night tonight, and your steaks are going to be there for us.
So they ordered 80 ribeye steaks from us.
Nice.
Picked them up this morning. I cut them myself yesterday.
Awesome.
And they are beautiful.
I'm getting an Ian cut steak
100%.
at the RCMP Club today. All right, you're going to stick around. We're going to talk some more in just a moment. Ian Slipikoff, owner of Du Michel Meat and Deli, coming back right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Think it's okay to drive high? Think again. Drug-impaired driving is as illegal as drunk driving, and in Ontario, the penalties are the same. If police suspect you're driving under the influence of drugs of any kind, or a combination of drugs and alcohol, and you fail a roadside test, your license will be suspended immediately for up to 30 days. You'll pay a penalty of $198. And you can be charged with a criminal offense of impaired driving, the same as alcohol. Driving high is never okay.
Welcome to the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Stalo people. The Stalo are people of the river. I'm so thankful for the courage and resiliency of our ancestors who lived on this land since time immemorial. Each of us have gifts from the Creator, and our Creator has a plan and purpose to be fulfilled in our territory. As we embrace our traditional teachings, we can lead the next generation into the fullness of what our Creator designed. Our shared history reveals a broken relationship. But as all Canadians commit to hear truth, acknowledge injustice, we can learn to walk in our traditional way, Letsamot, with a good heart and a good mind. Then all of our lives will be enriched. Kwasai.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome back to the show. Back with Ian Slipikoff, owner of Du Michel Meat and Deli, by the way, located down there at 351 Donald Street. You can find them online as well and on social media. And we're talking about a different cut of meat here with you next up. What have you brought along with you here? Because I don't recognize this one.
No, it's a different one. So this is outside skirt steak.
Okay.
So this is great for fajitas.
Okay.
It's a cut that we always carry at Du Michel. You know, you can go to the grocery store and find like rib steaks and sirloin steaks and burgers and other stuff that, you know, regular stuff that they carry. But trying to find skirt steak isn't easy.
I don't think I've ever seen it in a main grocery chain.
No. Like the last time we talked when I was here, we talked about hanger steak. You know, I want to have cuts that you're not going to be able to find just at your regular store. I want to have special cuts. I want to have things that are really good, really flavorful, that a lot of other people aren't carrying.
Right.
So I always carry this in stock.
Okay.
So outside skirt, if you ever go to, let's say, Lone Star and you have fajitas, and it's cut really thin, super flavorful, juicy, until it's been on that plate for about 10 minutes.
Right.
When it dries out.
That's probably what they're using?
That's exactly what they use. They use outside skirt. So you can buy it from the store. Sometimes they have it uncleaned, and it's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
Or you can buy it cleaned, which is typically what we do.
Okay.
So when you take a piece of skirt, you've got kind of a membrane that sits on both sides of it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
okay.
you have to be able to take that off.
Right.
So it's the easiest thing.
Because if you don't, that's just chewy and tough. Yeah, okay.
You can turn it into leather.
Gotcha, okay.
So essentially, I mean, you just take it and it pulls apart. So you just
Oh, it's kind of like the backside of a rib,
exactly.
right? Like
so
pork ribs.
Literally, yeah, it's the membrane. So you literally just put your hand on it and you can literally pull and the whole piece essentially just comes right out.
Okay.
So then you get the whole membrane off on one side and you can see like that beautiful looking marbled meat. And then you just simply flip it to the other side.
Okay.
And you can just kind of get your finger under it.
And if it's slippy, by the way, if you don't have gloves or something and it slips all over the place, this has happened to me. I just take a paper towel, right?
Towel
or
a rag
absolutely,
from the
a kitchen towel, and then you can get a really good...
Get a good grip on it.
Yeah.
And you just give it a little bit of pull. But the butcher's trick is to put your hand on it, so when you're pulling, you're not pulling all the meat apart, you're actually just pulling the piece.
Gotcha, okay.
So then once you've done that, you basically, you take your knife, you can clean a little bit of the fat away. We save all the trimmings for grind.
Oh, nice.
And then so you're not just getting chuck, you're getting like some nicer cuts in there. And then what you can do for space, just roll it up, turns it into a nice little flour. And then we put it in the counter that way.
Nice.
But when you're seasoning it, I mean, you can take the Silver Fox steak spice, you can take your salt and pepper, any Mexican seasoning. You just season both sides. Roll it, let it marinate for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then what you do is when you're grilling it, just throw it flat on the grill.
So outside of fajitas, could you just eat it like this, like as a steak?
Yeah.
Like what else would you recommend you do with that cut?
Well, I mean, it's great for fajitas, enchiladas. It's very southern cut.
Okay.
So it's very Spanish. Churrasco is the Spanish term for it as well. And it's tender, but it has to be sliced against the grain and thin.
Okay.
Because trying to eat it like a steak would be a little bit tough.
Okay,
so it's more of a marinating and seasoning.
Oh, that's nice to know. Okay, yeah, because I love a good That's the other thing. You know, people when they're barbecuing, you know, first of all, I think one of the biggest mistakes is saucing first, right?
Yes.
You see it all the time. I'm going to see it tonight. I guarantee you, at the club, someone's going to put their steak, sauce it, and then throw it on. Why shouldn't you do that?
I mean, it's sacrilegious to me.
Okay.
But I'm just a big fan of when you're cooking a steak, just salt and pepper, or like a steak spice, you know, something with a bit of flavor. Right. You don't want to put it on too early because the salt is going to draw the moisture out of the meat. So you put it on just a little bit before, you know, whether it's 5-10 minutes before is great.
Okay.
You don't want to salt it 3 hours before. It's just going to dry out that piece.
Okay.
Putting a barbecue sauce or something before you're cooking, essentially barbecue sauces are full, a lot of them have a lot of sugar.
Right.
So when you're putting it on the grill, you're going to end up caramelizing that sugar, and you're going to almost burn the outside of your steak.
Right.
And some people like that.
Yeah, for sure. To each his own, but just wait to maybe do it a little bit later on, right? When it's almost done cooking, that's the time to put something like that. Because is the other danger you're not probably going to cook it as well either, because you're going to take it off sooner than you want to because you're burning it?
You may think it's more done on the outside, but the internal temperature is lower.
I gotcha. I know you didn't bring chicken today, but you and I were talking during the commercial break, was the fact that people don't know how to cook it properly, especially on the barbecue. I think, you know, a full chicken is one thing because it keeps all those juices in. What if you're doing something like a boneless, skinless chicken breast on the barbecue?
So a lot of it, I mean, is by feel. You can really feel whether it's cooked or not, but it's very important, I think, for people, especially if you're going to use a barbecue, get a temperature sensor.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the best thing. You know, you can buy it at Capital Barbecue, or you can buy it at any of the barbecue stores around town. The wireless temperature sensors that are instant. So it's an instant read, takes 1 second. You just probe it in, see what your temp's at. That way you're not going to end up with stuff that's way overcooked. Because we all have been to those barbecues where, you know, we were just talking about it.
It comes to burgers too, right? You've gone to the barbecue where they've, you know, and people are leaving it on too long, and you get your burger and you're just like, hey.
And when you go to a barbecue, if you're buying fresh burgers from a butcher shop, you can cook them to any temperature you want. If you want to have a medium burger, you want to have a medium rare, you can do it because the meat's been ground fresh that day. There's not a worry of, you know, other things being added into it or E. coli as much. So you can eat it that way. But when you go to a restaurant and, you know, they're going to cook your burger, 99% of the time they're overdoing it. It's very hard to get a burger.
And that's a precaution quite often too, right? That they're trying to do. Before we run out of time, Ian and I were talking before the show as well, you know, with affordability now and, you know, the big grocery chains and everything, can't say enough to support your smaller, not just Ian's butcher shop, you know, any local butcher shop, any of these great grocery stores. You know, you and I mentioned Green Fresh, the Asian grocery store, Cedars, right? There's just some amazing ones out there. And
there's a lot of great ones in the city.
And affordable.
Yeah, there's about 15 different grocery butcher shops around the city. Most of them are family run. They're great stores, great people running them. They put their heart and soul into it. Agreed. And there was an article in the Citizen just yesterday talking about how, you know, butcher shops, independently owned butcher shops, are probably about the same price.
So you're right. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere. We know how amazing moms are, and just in time for Mother's Day, here's an opportunity to tell us how great she is and make her eligible to receive an exclusive makeover package. Just send us a few sentences telling us why your mom is so special and why she deserves a free professional makeover. The winner will receive an incredible makeover prize pack consisting of makeup and hair care services courtesy of Bruno Racine's Salon and L.A. Barrett. They have both worked with some of the biggest stars in North America.
Rogers presents the 2024 East Coast Music Awards, live from Charlottetown Thursday, May 2nd, starting with the red carpet at 6 p.m., followed by the awards show at 7. The East Coast Music Awards on Rogers TV.
Clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play, and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
I'm Sam LaPrade. I hope you join us for an hour to give right here on Rogers TV. We're going to talk about everything that is going to inspire you about this beautiful city.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Welcome back to the show. We are switching gears because we're talking menopause with my next guest because it's so individual and so unique for each and every person. The symptoms can be different. The approach in trying to help them can be very different. And my next guest is a menopause specialist coach and hypnosis practitioner, Allison Press, joining me. Welcome. How are you, Allison?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I have to ask you, why did you decide to on these particular roles? What was the inspiration behind it?
Oh, I'm a perimenopausal woman. I'm 52, and when I started the journey about mid-40s, there wasn't a lot of holistic support, and I decided that well, if you can't find it, then build it. And I come with a 20-year fitness and wellness background, and during COVID, I decided, well, there's nothing else to do. I'm at home, so I went and I got my life coaching, accredited life coaching with Mind Rebel Academy, and then I started looking into hypnosis, and I went with the National Guild of Hypnosis, and then I turned around and went, okay, I want to do menopause, and I became a menopause specialist and started studying in the menopause field, and here we are. I married it all together.
Well, and I'm not surprised to hear that you had a difficult time finding a holistic approach to it, because menopause isn't the only thing I've heard that people are having a difficult time. My wife, as a matter of fact, took a holistic approach, and it changed her life completely. How do you work with somebody holistically? What does it mean to do that exactly?
So I partner up with my clients, and together we sort of I bring my skill of being a coach and the hypnosis, and we work together in this great little container, and we talk about their personal journey. So whether it's physical, mental, emotional, because that comes under all the umbrella of menopause. And together we come up with next best steps. How can we achieve the goals? What do you want your menopause journey to look like? And then we just bring it in and we do the hypnosis piece. And the hypnosis where it gets to be replanting the seed in the subconscious mind. So whatever we've discussed in regards to in the container of coaching, it's like, okay, so we're going to work on this. We're going to work on body image. Now let's replant the seed in a hypnosis state where they're very relaxed. So they come out feeling a little more confident. They know their next best steps until we meet again. And it goes back and forth in that direction. And it really is trying to make sure that they have someone in their corner.
Right.
I like to be part of their menopause team. Really, because there's so many different ways. We can bring in a naturopath, we can bring in dietitians, and I have a lot of people for references that if where I stop, they can begin.
Okay.
And that holistic approach is we're all working together, but it really is up to that individual, and it's very unique to that client. And so everybody is very specific in what their journey wants to be.
Hypnosis is really interesting because there's skepticism when it comes to hypnosis. Yes. I'm not a skeptic, by the way. I've been hypnotized in the past. But for those that are skeptic, I'm sure not every client walks in and goes, great, let's do hypnosis.
No.
Like, how do you give them, how do you make them feel comfortable about doing that? Because some people, I don't want to lose control of myself,
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And you're right. A lot of people have this idea that I'll make them cluck like a chicken, which I won't. It really comes down to having the conversation and easing into it. So a lot of times, again, when we're in the coaching part of it, we'll come up with a few little things, and I'll do a smaller, more deeper relaxation. I try to frame it more. If you meditate, hypnosis is just that one step down.
Right.
And that you and I together, you tell me where you're comfortable, and we'll just take it to that level. And then we'll go a little bit longer the next time. And a lot of times for the disbelievers, most of us in a hypnosis field, we leave little Easter eggs as I would say. So it's sort of like we will talk about a specific color and we'll remember that color, remember red, and you're going to see red. And it's more when they're coming out of hypnosis, for the next 24 hours, they're going to notice the color a little more. And then I get the phone call, oh, I really was hypnotized.
I can see that. That is so cool.
And the more you do it, the faster and easier it is to get them into that headspace. I have a hypnosis therapist as well, and even talking to her personally, I just talk to her and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really relaxed.
I want to touch on menopause in the workplace because I think we've come a long way. We're starting to see, I mean, just here at Rogers, I can tell you that you're now seeing it, the products themselves. But outside of, the products and outside of, government saying, we're going to make sure that those products are available, what other things can people do in the workplace?
So in the workplace, it's now just becoming a little more popular and creating policies and procedures to support women in menopause. And a lot of times what just needs, it's a conversation that needs to be had. Having little workshops, little lunch and learns. I really am working with yoga studios, fitness studios in the fitness realm, and it's creating those spaces for your clients as they come in, that they know that you have the information. You have something as simple as cool towels in a freezer. Right? Yeah. You have certain specific feminine protection in the bathrooms available to them, and it just makes them feel welcome. So it's very small little things you can be doing to make a menopausal woman feel supported, and also advertising that I am menopause approved. I've gone through, my studio is menopause approved, and we're here to support you. Ask any questions that you want, and if we don't have the answers, we'll get them for you. But it is for retention and inclusivity, really, it comes down to.
I got about 40 seconds left. Just want to ask you, you've got a four-series workshop coming up in September. What does that look like?
Yes, so I am working with Heritage Rehabilitation and Fitness Center in the Carleton Place. Okay. And we have put together a 4-part series, Menopause, Mindset, and Movement. Okay. We're very excited, and it is for the participants, anybody who can join us. And really, we're going to be talking about, there's going to be an education piece. We're going to be bringing in a mindset piece where I'll be bringing in a group hypnosis, and then a beautiful movement piece where it's very fluid, and we're basically talking about hip openers and joint and pelvic floor exercises to just really tie it all together for women to feel really good.
People can register through your website?
They can register or get the information through my website.
Terrific. Yes. Thank you so much, Allison.
Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate the time. Visit the website soulfulflow.ca to register and, of course, find out more information and how you can work with Allison. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
My name is Matthew Rutledge. I'm a 60 Scoop survivor, born in Red Lake. Was adopted from there to Toronto at the age of 4. A lot of our brothers and sisters, family members got separated from each other. That was the government's goal, to break that connection from brothers and sisters. Basically taking the Indian out of the child. Right now, they're still trying to find themselves. Originally, my birth name is Harvey Halverson. In my high school days, teens, I was trying to fit into society. I knew I was First Nations, but I didn't know who I was inside. I think later in life, I started that journey. I am proud, Anishinaabe man, who I am now. I love life, who I am.
Join us for the new season of Ottawa Storytellers, right here on Rogers TV.
Watch Podium exclusively on Rogers TV.
Back to the show. The photos we're going to show you during this segment will speak enough, but my next guest is just an incredible architect, and she's got a brand new space down on Preston and has had to change her focus like many different industries, especially going through the pandemic. I'm joined by Huri Avedisian. She is an architect and owner of HA Squared Architecture and Design Inc. Welcome. Great to have you here. It's been a while you and I have been trying to get together. Hey?
I know. It's been since last summer. I'm thinking.
But we made it. We finally did it. Tell me a little bit about your background and how and why you got into architecture in particular.
Why I got into architecture? Well, that's the God's job. He just led me and guided me throughout since I was a kid. So it was really easy. I never had any questions about it. I used to love houses, buildings. I'd look up in the sky and I'm like, okay, I got to do this one day.
Nice.
And it was always that direction I took. And I used to love drawing and making models and making things. And the path was very clear for me. So I'm very lucky. By the age of 9, I knew where I was going.
Wow, that's amazing. One thing we wanted to talk about today is, as I said off the top, the pandemic hit so many different industries. It hit you hard. Tell me how it affected your career, your work personally.
So it was an interesting period, I should say. So 2020, I had about a good 4 or 5 proposals on the table. Things were starting to look like it was going to be a good year. But suddenly, while I'm waiting for things to come through, then started this talk about the pandemic was happening, and of course, none of us understood what that really meant and where that was going. But in the meantime, I still had this commercial building that a friend of mine had asked me to renovate and turn it into this industrial building on Preston into a retail space for his furniture store, and that was an exciting challenge. But it was a big process because there was a lot of work to be done to correct the building and put it in a state that we can start working with.
We actually have photos. If Steph, if you could bring up some of the befores, just as we was talking about that. So that was one of the.
That's in my office space.
That's
right
your
there.
office space.
That's
right there.
exactly the space that my office was in, under the condition it was in. And this is after we did all the gutting work that we did.
Right.
Right, and then peeling back some of the walls and all that stuff, and then understanding the condition.
It was a really old building. There's a photo of the outside of the building that we'll get to. But look, I mean, look at this building and to what it is today. Like, how did you go about that process of designing a building that's in a state that's like this?
Well, yeah, the transformation.
Look at that. It's unbelievable. It doesn't even look like it's the same. It looks like you tore down the building and put in a new one.
Well, technically, that corner is new.
It is, eh?
That little section, just the exterior corner, so like that L shape, because the damage, so the previous image would have shown all those morseled windows that were piecemeal and kind of like blotchy and stuff. And we had to start removing them, but the structure was so weakened and we had so much repair to do on that job for it just to even be standing.
Right.
And in order for us to have a retail space and something that's going to be open to my furniture, from my office space to the furniture side and have light going through, we needed expansive windows on that elevation on that line.
Right.
So we had to open up all the walls there, and the concrete, I mean, the block was really not in good condition. So we had a lot of structural reinforcing to do there. And in doing so, and since the window was so white, that whole corner kind of was rebuilt.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention 2020, and then moving in as lockdowns happened, and then all of a sudden we had supply chain issues, and the prices of things went through the roof, right?
Absolutely, Derek. That was the thing. So we also, because it was a retail, it wasn't residential, so it wasn't considered the urgency under construction.
Right.
So we were shut down quite a few times, and we were on that holding pattern like everyone else, and then that always kind of affected all the people, the staff that were working on the construction itself. And then, as you said, the supply for the steel in particular. And in our case, when I just said about the whole structure of the corner having to be opened up and everything, well, we needed to get all that material in order to do so. And
right.
you know, it was part of the stuff. And we were stuck for like 6 months at some point, waiting for that. As much as we were trying to advance on the inside or whatever we could do.
And different contractors, right, need to be in the space at different times, and you've got to try to organize everybody to come in at different periods. I can't even imagine what you went. Well, let's talk about the positive, because I want to show some of your work that is just absolutely stunning. So I'm going to ask them just to roll the. So is residential part of was your main focus to start?
It was since 2009. I've been designing a building in Ottawa. And basically, that whole until 2020, my focus was on high-end, modern, highly detailed, custom experience, luxury homes and renovations and all that kind of workload. And yeah, and I was super, you know, invigorating, and I fully enjoyed it. And I, you know, the results spoke for themselves. I was very fortunate to be able to succeed in what I was doing and do well. And as a part of growth, you know, when you're doing something really well, you want a new challenge and you want a new focus. And somehow, you know, when you're thinking through how your career is going, and then an opportunity comes like the commercial building, which actually did come right before COVID. So I signed on that job basically in 2019, November, December, when I did the site visit to see what the condition of the building was. So it was just a strike of luck, I'd say, for the timing of it, how it worked, because I was looking for that next challenge.
So is that the new direction now then?
Yes, now the idea is to focus on this kind of like making an impact like that in
yeah,
Ottawa.
Because you know what really stood out to me, not only the commercial building, but looking at the residential buildings, and I said this to my wife this morning, is that we're seeing, you know, when it comes to infills, a lot of new homes are the boxy style of homes. But you add to that, there's so many features where there's some curves on it, and then there's a lot of extensions, and so it's not just a box. Because I think a lot of people are looking at the homes being built now and going, oh, you know what, in a few years people are going to be bored of that because it just looks like a box. The way that you design is spectacular.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I'm a phone call away. You can use my number, my 613 number, that 883-330 number, and then my email address, and we can book an appointment in my beautiful office, and you'll get to see for yourself, because I wanted to create my little 700 square foot space as an ideal showroom spot.
You've done such an amazing job,
highlight
Rory.
the level of creativity I can take on, and in both interior design and the exterior of the project.
Well, you've done just that. Thank you so much, and congratulations. We know how amazing moms are, and just in time for Mother's Day, here's an opportunity to tell us how great she is and make her eligible to receive an exclusive makeover package. Just send us a few sentences telling us why your mom is so special and why she deserves a free professional makeover. The winner will receive an incredible makeover prize pack consisting of makeup and hair care services courtesy of Bruno Racine's Salon and L.A. Barrett. They have both worked with some of the biggest stars in North America.
Hi, I'm Sam Pratt. I want to talk all about business with you on Ottawa Business Matters. This week, lots of great guests, including Jennifer Stewart. She's the president and CEO of Syntax Strategic. Join us then.
I did it. I need it.
Here, I gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. We've talked about the evening in the Maritimes, just an amazing event each and every year, and I'm proud to say, and I'm sure my next guest is proud to say it too, because it does always sell out, but it is already sold out. But our focus today is where the money is going, and it's a great organization called Able To. I'm joined by its executive director, Heather Lacey. Heather, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And congratulations, you're celebrating your 50th anniversary this year. You weren't always called Able To, right? You started...
No, we started out as Citizen Advocacy of Ottawa Carleton.
Right.
And we changed the name in 2020. We thought it was time for a name change. We started off as a grassroots organization in Ottawa 50 years ago. I say it, and it's still really hard to believe. Yeah. But really, it was a grassroots movement of parents whose relatives were coming out of the institution in the 70s, right? And they really needed advocates to help to get people integrated and back into the community, right? So that's where we started. And we started with a program called our matching program, which matched individuals with disabilities with volunteers, volunteer advocates, right? And if you think about it, that program, it's lived for a long time, and it's done such great work and has had such impact. Because if you really look at it, like as an individual without a disability, right, you all of your support system, the people around you, they're not paid to be there. Right. But for people with disabilities, a lot of times their support system is paid to be there. And there's such an enrichment in having that organic friendship develop between two people, and that's what we do. We set that up and we help to facilitate that.
Well, and I imagine, there are great benefits to both parties here, Heather.
Fabulous,
right? You must hear it all the time.
Constantly. They've created this wonderful friendship where they're part of each other's families. They go to weddings, they've been to christenings. We have matches that have lasted over 20 years.
Wow. That's incredible.
So you can tell that it's a real friendship. And so, that's not all we do, but that's definitely the core program that we started out with.
So you serve about, 2,000 people at this time?
Yeah, per year.
So there, I imagine there's a waiting list then to find matches?
There is. There's a waiting list, and we need volunteers. That's an area where we're definitely do a lot of recruitment. Being a volunteer for someone is such an amazing experience, and you don't have to have any special skill. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like you just there to
be a friend and hang out.
Exactly. Right? Go for coffee. Go to the movies. Do some some fun things. Go to concerts. Right? The things that everyone likes to do to get out and do things. Right?
You also have a legal referral service. Is that right?
That's right. We just integrated with Reach Canada.
Okay.
So we brought them. They came in under Able To. So now we have a roster of 200 volunteer lawyers who are there to help individuals with disabilities who need legal assistance. And basically what our program does is we refer them to the lawyers for 3 hours of free legal service.
Is it simply because like the rest of us, you might find yourself in a legal situation, like anybody, right?
Yeah, like anyone.
Yeah,
so you may have a landlord-tenant issue. You might have, say, for example, an issue with your pension or your disability, right? Your disability pension. So they're there to help out with anything like that. Yeah, if you're a person with a disability. So it's about access to justice. So for a lot of people, especially people with disabilities, in order to take full advantage of being part of your community, you need to know what your rights are. You need to be able to access the justice system so they can help you to do that.
You mentioned that word community. That's another program, right? Build Community?
That's right.
Tell me about that.
So Build Community, wonderful program. So it's for families and who have individuals with disabilities, and they'd like to build a support system around their loved one. So, of course, as you know, we don't all live forever. And, for a lot of parents or siblings who have a loved one with a disability, the worry is always what's going to happen when I'm not not here.
Of course.
And so what we do is we have facilitators that help families and the individual themselves to get a support system together and get out in the community. So that's what that program is.
For that next step.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Incredibly well, and where you're going to live and help with employment,
that's
right?
right.
And that's your advocate
that's
for your
right.
whole life.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, if you lose that advocate,
then what happens, right? I mean, it's wonderful to have that around you, right? And we all should have that, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really. Yeah.
And it's a shame, even as you said, all of us should have it, but we've gotten away from that for whatever reason. I don't know. Evening in the Maritimes is sold out, but I imagine it's a huge event for you. But funding otherwise, where do you get funding from?
So our funding comes some from the government, right?
Okay.
From the provincial government, some from the City of Ottawa. We get some from United Way. A lot of our funding comes through grants and foundations, and of course we raise money through donations and events like Evening in the Maritimes.
So as I mentioned off the top, it's unfortunate for all of you at home that you can't get a ticket to Evening in the Maritimes. I've gone in the past. It is such a party. I mean, it's Ottawa's premier East Coast kitchen party. So next year when it comes up, get your tickets right away. Otherwise, you can visit the website to make a donation. It's quite frankly that simple. Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
The website is able2.org, by the way. I'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Rogers presents the 2024 East Coast Music Awards, live from Charlottetown Thursday, May 2nd, starting with the red carpet at 6 p.m., followed by the awards show at 7. The East Coast Music Awards on Rogers TV.
I'm Sam LaPrade. I hope you join us for an hour to give right here on Rogers TV. We're going to talk about everything that is going to inspire you about this beautiful city.
Welcome back to the show. I was just saying to Heather from Able2, she was like, oh, I forgot to mention the silent auction that's online right now. So I'll mention it right now. They have a great silent auction that's going on, so you don't have to be at the actual event itself to put a bid on any of these silent auction items. They've got some fantastic items. You name it, they have it available on there. So if you head over to able2.org, you can put your bids in, and that I believe is leading up right until the end of the night on May the 1st, but you can check out the information online. Again, able2.org for more information on that. Infinity Convention Center, their Mother's Day brunch. It's called A Toast to Mom. It's coming up, of course, on Sunday, May 12th, which is Mother's Day. So if you don't have any plans yet, they have some tickets available. Tickets are selling quite quickly, by the way. It's 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can visit infinityconventioncenter.com for that. And I forgot to mention as well, Huri from HA Squared Architect and Design. She's got a big VIP launch on June the 8th. She's really excited. It's a private invitation, but it's an exciting time for her because a brand new focus for the business. We'll see you next time. Have a great Thursday.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Welcome to Secondary Dwelling from Hell. There's a lot of things that need to be done for a secondary dwelling in Ontario. There's a lot of rules that were not followed here. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a secondary dwelling. This was never inspected. Obviously, we know that no one inspected nothing here. You're going to want to tune into this series. It's going to teach you a lot. This one's going to be a fun one. I'm really excited. Let's get started.
We know how